Hey gang. Oh good. I think you guys are here. Sorry. It was saying, "Are you sure you want to go early? Are you sure you want to start early?" I was like, "Yeah, let's just do this." And I've never started this early before, so and also a lot of my stuff's all a little wonky, so I got to stretch out some things here. Okay. Yeah, let's just wrap up this little epilogue. I don't think there's going to be combat in this, but we shall see. There could be. All right, welcome back. Like Morgan said, long time no see. I wish I fell into a flask of bourbon. I just got my really sweet cider. I have celiac, so there's certain things I can't drink. Um, all right, let's get going. Let's see where this leads us. And ooh, I realized something. We had that amulet of the beast or whatever it's called. When we took our damage, it should have been halved. So it made sense we still cast Healing Word, but we would be at full health. But we did have the lesser amulet of the beast, I think is what it's called, which again, we were resistance to attack from beasts. Our characters of the beast subclass or shape changer subclass or class. So, or type, I think. So anyway, there we go. I screw up. We all screw up. Let's go. Ooh, we don't have music, do we? Let's get some. Let's get some fantasy music. Do you think it's gonna be happy, or is this gonna be like another? Let's see what music we can add in here. There we go. I'm not happy with this mix. I think it's a little dopey. Who let the dogs out? Who? Okay. All right, it's subtle. Let's just get in the music. Okay, let's go. Dawn breaks bleak and gray over the still homes of Langston. You are just returning from leading an uneventful night on patrol, but not all of them have been so quiet. Oh, we're hanging out for a while. The town has taken measures to quarantine the cemetery. The townsfolk are walking the rows of headstones with clubs to destroy any dead as they claw their way out of the graves. Oh, that's not good. However, Langston has stood in this spot for hundreds of years and has not always used the same cemetery to inter their dead. Over the past week, since capturing Selene, you have already dealt with the animated remains of 2 people and several house pets. Ooh, pet cemetery. The innkeeper greets you warmly as you stagger into the Pickled Hen with the townsfolk you led through the streets last night. He silently sets a hot meal in front of you and your companions as more militia members filter into the temporary headquarters for undead hunters. A few I'm assuming that's a typo, bites into your breakfast, the mayor strides in at the head of her own patrol. If you look closely, you can barely see the tired lines around her mouth and eyes. Her rigid bearing seems unaffected by the late nights. She directs her team to get something to eat and then joins you. You ask if there's been any word from the messenger. Ooh. None, she says as she receives a tray of her own. Ooh, from the Order of the Radiant? The Radiant Order is several days' hard ride. We can expect the cleric to arrive soon. Oh, that's good. The 2 of you eat in silence for a few bites before the tavern door slams open and a bloodied Roy rushes in. Uh-oh. In here, lads, he says. He sweeps everything off the table nearby to the nearest the door as 2 men from town carry the limp form of an injured woman. Set her down and give her some space. You rush to his side as he lays his hands on the woman and begins chanting. A green glow emanates from around his hands before sputtering and dying. He curses in several languages. Uh-oh. His magic's going bad. Adventurer, we were caught by 3 skeletons down the main street, he says. But I'm out of healing magic. Go to Tomlin's house. He must have made some healing potions before he died. We've got a whole bunch. You look at the mayor, and she gives you a single nod. You bolt out of the door on your way to the herbalist's cottage. Oh, do we do that? Or, if you have your own healing abilities, you can offer to use them. We have it. People are talking about bourbon in the chat. It's delicious. I mean, we have 4 healing potions? We have 3. We have 3 healing potions, and we have magic. Let's just use them. Yeah. Okay, 398. Okay, settle down. Out of my way. Here we go. Well, we'll do that if there's no potions to be had. There is. We need to keep you in fighting shape, adventurer, especially now that I'm out. Save your spells. I've got her stable for now, but please hurry. $380. You're left gasping for breath when you arrive at Tomlin's cottage. It seems like such a long time ago you were here helping him rid his garden of scraplings, though in reality it's been a little more than a week. I hope we don't have a fight and we should be level 2 right now. The cottage is corpse-like in that it looks exactly the same as the last time you were here, but the dark windows and quiet of the gray dawn give the place a disconcerting stillness. The person who brought this place to life is gone, and a shiver runs up your spine at the realization. But within could be the key to saving someone else. We could have gone to the general store and just got some too, because they got a lot of them. Maybe we could only buy one? I don't know. But within could be the key to saving someone else. You set aside discomfort from stealing from a dead man and try to find a way in. You've tried the front door and it's locked. Well, this is just dumb. The trellises are high and thick with vines, and you know firsthand how hard they are to climb. What are we, like Romeo? What? Even if the back door would be unlocked. It's not worth the time as someone lies bleeding to death on a tavern table. I know, we have spells and potions. That leaves you the option of picking the lock, breaking down the front door, or breaking a window. I find this tedious. We could have gone to the general store, or used our own, or cast a spell. Which way? It's, I mean, assuming picking a lock, I don't even think we have thieves' tools. Breaking down the front door, we're not strong. Breaking the window and crawling in, that may be a dex check because we're going to get hurt and cut on the glass. But that's what we're best at. What do you guys think? Morgan says, this is ridiculous. Break the window. I agree. Let's go. Not here to dilly-dally. There are no elegant solutions. You smash the window and crawl through the broken glass. Roll a dexterity saving throw. There we go. We want a 10, or we take 1d4 glass damage. We have a +2, so we want an 8 or above. Who's rolling it? Someone hop up and make me a roll. I don't see Mike in the dice, so either Morgan or Barry hop up and do it. Mike's not currently in this one, I don't think. I don't see him in the dice app. So Barry, let's do it, because Morgan is casting things aside. Bardic Inspiration. Okay, great. Woo! We need a 10. Our dex is +2. So that is 3 + 2 is a 5. We have Bardic Inspiration. You can roll the 1d6. We need a 5 or above. That is a 1 in 3 chance, Barry. So roll the Bardic Inspiration. We roll a 1d6 if you want to, and we need a 5 or 6 to get this, or we're taking 1d4 points of damage. There we go. We're good. Go Bardic Inspiration. So we used it. We have 2 left. You drop into Tomlin's cottage. Okay. Go to 386. Are we going to see like some dun-dun-dun moment? What's happened here? The interior of Tomlin's house looks like the last time you saw it, only frozen in time. No cauldron bubbles or no remedies are being distilled, with only the weak light from the outside. I'm just listening to the music. It's still okay. With only the weak light from outside, the cottage is gloomy despite the brightly colored ingredients drying, and a mustiness is already moving in under the smell of herbs and flowers. Though you feel a twinge of sadness for Tomlin's passing, you quickly collect yourself and start rifling through his belongings, looking for any unsold healing potions. Investigation. Morgan, you got to do this because you keep pushing off the rolls. Roll an investigation check. I think we have a +2 on this. We want a 12. You can do Bardic Inspiration if you want, but again, if we don't find them, we got some of our own. This person's dying. There we go. 10. That's it. Exactly. We have a +2 to our investigation. I'm quite sure we do. Exactly. Go to 396. Okay. I feel like we're going to like find something like dun dun dun, but we'll see. All right, move that. Got a little pop-up on my way. Like the care he took with his garden, Tomlin was meticulous about organizing his ingredients and remedies. Everything is clearly labeled and in its place. It doesn't take you long to find what you're looking for. Your quick search turns up 3 bottles labeled as healing potions and a vial of antitoxin. So we've literally doubled our store of potions and antitoxin. As you do one last check, though, through the herbalist's belongings, you come across a garland woven of brightly colored wildflowers. It looks like something one might wear in some kind of ceremony, so you assume it's some part of the wedding that didn't happen. Interestingly, all the flowers look and smell as if they were plucked from a meadow just minutes ago. Uh-oh, is Undead Tomlin back? Or is he Were Tomlin? Though you don't see how that could be possible. Examining the garland, it shimmers slightly as you turn it. This could be helpful as well, and at the very least, you should probably ask Roy about it. It's clearly magical, but you don't have the time to figure out what it does right now. We added the garland. One last cursory check doesn't reveal anything else that would be helpful. You rush out of the cottage towards the Pickled Hen. This was a reason to get us to see that garland. You burst into the Pickled Hen, and the bedlam of Roy's arrival has calmed down. The injured militia member is lying on the table, her wounds wrapped in bandages already stained with blood. Roy is speaking quietly to Mayor Anathram. Roy, he's jovial. There were 3 of them this time, he said. Just skeletons, but one of them got past me and caught the poor lass good. Still no word on when the new cleric will arrive? None, the mayor says. Have you learned anything from Solane? Nothing, says Roy. Just the same story that the land itself is cursed and the temple puts the dead to rest, but only if there's a member of the Radiant Order caring for it. The mayor nods her acknowledgement at Roy's report and then notices you. Did you find any potions? You say that you did, and hand over 1, keeping the other 2 for yourself. Okay, so I'm just writing this down. 5 potions and 2 antitoxins is our overall. Okay. Roy takes the... I got these pop-ups. Roy takes it and administers it to the wounded woman on the table, stiff with pain despite being unconscious. She visibly relaxes as the druid pours the healing elixir into her mouth. That should do her, he says. She'll at least be stable until I can recover my healing spells. How was your patrol, adventurer? You report to Roy and Mayor Anathram that your night's patrol was uneventful, but you also show Roy the garland you found at Tomlin's house. He says, examining it. This is a wedding garland, not unusual in itself, mostly made of flowers that symbolize love, but also some poisonous blooms in the mix. And the red ones, they only bloom in the spring, so they should be dead and gone long ago. He turns the garland over, watching the magical shimmer. The mayor looks on dispassionately. Don't see any harm in it, he says. I think we could do with diversion, huh, adventurer? Let's bring this back to Maybelline's folks. It'll give them a little memento and something for us to do while we wait for the new priest. What? Without waiting for your reply, the energetic druid, he's energetic and jovial, whisked you away from the tavern and on your way and out of town. Just checking the chat. Where is my chat at? Whoa, I just moved that around. Where's my chat? I need to get this open. Burp. Sorry, there. Let's put this... I gotta move that again. Move that out of the way. Now it's like all gobbledygooky. Here, let's see here. My dice app's all goofy now. So I was trying to move the chat. Oh my gosh, all these pop-ups are driving me nuts. There we go. Just moving the dice app around. Give me a second. There we go. That's better. Okay, the chat is saying, let's just take up Tomlin's cottage. No kidding. Let's just move into Tomlin's cottage. Drowning in potions. Who pickles the hens, though? Pickled egg would make more sense. It shimmers. It's magical, right? Still not trusting anyone. Still not trusting anyone is where that ends. The chat is kind of covered on this page because of our little pop-up here. I guess I can get it away for the moment if I knew how. Let's get our stats. Boink. Okay. I see something about a bizzle. My eye slipped somewhere else. Maybelline's folks. Okay. 376. Whoa, this is a long one. Okay. You and Roy enjoy a companionable walk out of Langston in which you've come to terms with the events of the past couple weeks. You briefly discuss Solane, and Roy voices some concerns for her health and mental state. Oh, that poor lass was so sweet before, he says. And there'd be people taking advantage of that, but she was an important part of the community. It came as quite a shock to the town when Tomlin left her for Maybelline, especially so quickly. As you and Roy make your way through the country roads, the clouds continue to roll in and a dark drizzle begins to fall. You're damp and chilled by the time you reach your destination. Roy knocks gently at the farmhouse door. Maybelline's mother opens the door and peeks out, but when she sees you and Roy, she gives you both a wide smile that doesn't reach her tired eyes. We have a tendency of really noticing people's wrinkles and eyes. She looks thin, as if stretched too far. I'm old, Gandalf. Like butter spread over too much bread. But that's to be expected, given the recent events that have affected her family. If it isn't Roy and the adventurer who brought that priest to justice, she says. Well, you must be freezing. Come in and warm yourself by the fire. I already have a kettle on for tea. She escorts you into the communal living area with the fire cracking gently on the hearth. Maybelline's father is sitting in a rocking chair mending a harness for some beast of burden. He looks up, meets your eyes, and nods. His eyes, we have an eye fetish, are rimmed with red and dark circles, encase his eyes. I know. As Maybelline's mother bustles off towards the kitchen, Roy leans close to you and she says under her breath, "Something is off here. I know these lands better than anyone, and something is wrong with the farm." You nod just as Maybelline's mother comes in, the undead horde brewing underneath, from the kitchen with a teapot and 4 cups. While she busies herself with the tea, you pull out the garland you found at Tomlin's house and present it to Maybelline's parents. Their faces darken when they see it. The bags under their eyes grow heavy. "The adventurer found this in the home of your future son-in-law," Roy says, "so I thought you might want it for your closure." "That looks so familiar," Maybelline's mother says, squinting at the garland. "I think Maybelline made that herself, but weren't there 2? "Yeah, there were definitely 2, the father says. "I remember Maybelline making them. She was humming and singing those funny little songs the whole time. Did you not find the other one?" Roy shoots you a loaded look. "This garland is unusual," he says. "Do you know where the other one is?" "I don't," says the father. And you can now see he's just ineffectually picking at the harness in his lap. "But you can take a look around if you think it will help." Maybelline's mother still hasn't poured any tea, and she is just staring at the steaming teapot. She looks up, just remembering you're there. "Oh, yes, please. Anything you think might help." Shooting Roy a concerned look, you consider where you should look for the garland and maybe a clue to the couple's strange behavior. You could check Maybelline's bedroom, the kitchen. Why the kitchen? Or see if there are any flowers in the garden. How are we all feeling here? Chat is still the same. We're still not trusting anyone. Bedroom, kitchen, garden. Those are our options currently. Bedroom is number 1. Yeah, that's kind of where bedroom. That's where I was feeling too. So let's go hang out in the little girl's bedroom and just get our creep on. Wow, these are long passages. You ask if it's all right to take a look in Maybelline's room, and her father just points. You and Roy look around carefully but thoroughly. You find a twin to the garland you found. I was like, you found a twin? What? You found a twin to the garland you found in Tomlin's cottage, tucked under Maybelline's pillow. It has the same shimmer you saw with the first one. You hand it to Roy. You hand Roy Tomlin's garland while picking up Maybelline's. You feel that the ring of wildflowers tugs slightly towards its counterpart, as if the two were trying to touch. It's hard to explain where it might be coming from, but there's a sense of longing coming from the braided wildflowers in your hands. That's kind of cool. "You feel that too, huh?" Roy says. "This is looking more and more like some kind of enchantment, but nothing like any spell I've ever seen before." The pull continues, in insistent force, pulling the wedding garlands towards each other. Who's speaking? Come here, adventurer. I'm tired of being called adventurer. I know they don't know our name, but it's annoying. I want to try something. Ooh, it's getting sexy up in Maybelline's bedroom. Roy reaches out Tomlin's wedding garland to touch Maybelline's. "Just don't fall in love with me, huh? Or maybe you want to. It's up to you. It's a free country." You let the 2 strings of woven flowers touch each other, and the tugging sensation abruptly stops. The shimmer becomes a flash, and when your vision clears, both you and the druid are holding blackened chains of rotting flowers. Roll Arcana. This is not our jam. Give me a second. Let me get in the right app here. Arcana. I don't know if I took proficiency in Arcana. Let's see here. I don't think I did. I didn't. We have a 0. The Arcana check. We do have Bardic Inspiration, and we do have Inspiration, but swordplay. Thank you, Mike. Where were we at here? Where are we at? Intelligence. It needs to be a 15 or above. Who is rolling this? Use it. So who is rolling this? Mike. I think you're up. Any reason we would have multi-classes that direction? I think not. I'll take the inspiration. All right, take the inspiration. Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, I don't know if we would. What are we? Oh, that's not on the right thingy. It looks like you got it right. You got like a 19 or something, I think. Yeah, got it. Great. Good job. So we have lost our inspiration. We got it. 15 or more. 378. You identify the magic as some ancient love spell, though you have no idea how it might have come to be here in Maybelline's house. It seems as though the 2 garlands connected the 2 people, but it's odd that bringing them together would have caused the spell to break. Ooh, that seems like a witch. That seems like a condition for a pact with a dark force with a cruel sense of humor. This is mostly conjecture, however, as you are unfamiliar with the actual spell used to create the effect. When you explain all this to Roy, he sucks at his teeth for a moment. Well, Selene may know something. Ooh. She spent a lot of time studying these dark arts. Wouldn't hurt to ask, would it? Add blackened garlands to your inventory. So we have 2 things in our inventory. If you haven't done so yet, we can still check out the kitchen and the garden. Are we just doing the clean sweep? Like, let's check the kitchen, let's check the garland? Let's just do that. The garden. And make an executive decision. It just makes sense we do this. Maybelline's parents barely seem to register your presence as you move from the common area into the kitchen. Your first impression is that it is a kitchen that found like in any farmhouse anywhere in the land. Dried herbs hang from the rafters within reach. A cast iron pan sits on the stovetop, smooth with many years of seasoning. There are simple cooking utensils and enough plates and cups to accommodate the small family who lives here. But you and Roy look around all the same, and wrapped in oilcloth at the back of the pantry, you find a hidden parcel of herbs and flowers. All of the plants are oddly proportioned. Most are covered in thorns that seem just a little too sharp, and leaves and flowers alike are rimmed with unnatural shades of purple and green. One of the blossoms is a deep midnight black, and another has a splash of color, almost like a blood stain. Nature check. 15 or more. We do have bardic inspiration, but nature, we do have wisdom. Let me bring that back up. So we may get like a +1 in this. Oh, no, never mind. Nothing. Who's rolling bardic inspiration? Okay, bardic inspiration on us, which makes sense. If we don't use it now, we can use it on the our next whatever. Who is rolling this one? I think Morgan or Barry. You're up, Barry. So we want a 15 or above with a 0, 9. You would have to roll 6 on the Bardic Inspiration. Don't know if it's worth it, but up to you, Bear. You can choose the Bardic Inspiration now if you want. Oh, he's going for it. Nope, did not get 8. So that is one of our Bardic Inspirations used. We did not get it, though. If you get less than 15, go to 384. You don't recognize the herbs, but Roy does. And why didn't you just tell us? Avoids touching them. Those plants are not natural, he says. They only grow in unhallowed soil, and while I'm not entirely sure, burning them can also open up communications with demons, devils, and the like. What's the parents up to? Trying to bring back their child, maybe? You ask if this is the right mix to do so, and Roy just shrugs. No idea, but Selene might. Really leaning us to go back and talk to Selene. She's an expert in these things, even without that library of hers. Unhallowed herbs. If you haven't yet, you can still check out the garland, the garden. Okay. Check with the chat. Roy says he does. I'm trusting no one. You and Roy go out into the family garden, and Maybelline's parents seem not to even notice you. Yeah, I know. That seems to be happening a lot. They're like kind of zombified right now. They have a plot behind the farmhouse. You can see vegetables like string beans and tomatoes planted in neat rows, but the soil around them is teeming with weeds, and most of the plants seem scraggly with neglect. A few flowers are also in bloom, but not as many as could be. The whole outdoor space gives the impression of a well-planned garden that hasn't had any upkeep in a month or so. Well, they did just lose their child, so we can let that pass. Still, you look around for the wildflowers you saw in the garland. They shouldn't be affected by the lack of care needed by the cultivated plants. Sadly, you can find no sign of flowers. You do find something much more interesting. Game Boy. No. There's a patch of odd soil near the wall of the house, presumably under Maybelline's window. Ooh. Unlike the rest of the garden, this soil is the same black color as what you saw in the cemetery. This patch is too small to be a grave, but something could certainly be buried there. As you crouch down and start digging, Roy breaks off his search to join you. Thank you, Roy. He waits beside you. I thought he was helping us. And I was just waiting. What anxious silence as you scoop away the eerily dark earth. After a few minutes, you reveal that something was indeed buried there. You find a piece of parchment, stained a dark brown by the earth and completely covered with jagged, otherworldly script. There's a braided lock of hair strung through the strange message. That looks like abyssal to me, Roy says. Can you read it? I certainly can't. Whoa, I hit my mic. I think we can read abyssal, right? Wasn't that one of the ones that I picked just totally randomly? Let us double check. Let's see which one this would be. Spells. Languages. Here we go. We got it. We got abyssal, baby. If you can read abyssal, let's do it. That's why it's good to be a bard sometimes. You tell Roy that you can indeed read Abyssal, and he is suitably impressed. Just check salami. Okay, just reading the chat. However, looking over the writing, you see that it's actually an incantation of some kind and is written in a dialect you don't know. Well, that's the point. This happened earlier. We kind of knew all of these languages, and then it still didn't go anywhere. There are also a number of apparent errors, making it even harder to interpret. After reading through the text a few times, however, you can clearly see that it's a pact with some demonic entity. There appears to be a name, but you cannot make the sense of it. It looks like Betelgeuse? So, in exchange for something involving the dead of Langston, it seems that whoever wrote this incantation gets the love and devotion of the target. So, it's a love spell, Roy says, a powerful one, I wager. If the runoff is also affecting her parents, I don't know if she'll help, but we need to ask Selene. Okay, fine. Jesus. So we have all the information. We can go speak to Selene. Oh, which is literally the next passage. You and Roy bid farewell to Maybelline's parents, and they probably just sit there. And her mother still half-heartedly offers you tea while her father barely looks up. It's like Barovia, where the people are like, I can't remember, but their souls are just kind of like recycled. They're just kind of like empty vessels, basically. It's honestly impossible to tell whether the magical events Roy can feel or if it's just the trauma of recent events, both of which make sense. Well, adventurer, call us by our name, Roy says, I think we haven't any time to lose. Let's go. Or get on. Before you can question what he means, Roy's form shifts into that of a powerful-looking pony. Okay. Oh, he tosses his red mane and prances alongside you, letting him climb on. Why didn't you do that earlier when we're walking in the rain? Once you've gotten a grip on his neck, he takes off towards the town at a gallop. He sprints into town and clatters through the cobblestone streets to the jailhouse near the town hall. You climb off of Roy, yeah, and he reverts to his dwarven form. Both of you enter the jail together. Inside, it's gloomy. Let's check out the music. Let's make sure we got gloomy music. It's not very gloomy. Let's see if I can make it more suspenseful. Yeah. I should probably bump up the music. I still haven't figured out the best levels for music. Inside, it is gloomy, with a little natural light coming in through the open door. Most of the light comes from the several oil lamps burning around a single jail cell. It looks like it's mostly used for drunks and traveling vagabonds to spend the night, but currently, the only occupant is Selene. She looks strange without her vestments, instead being dressed in a plain gray dress likely donated by a kind woman in town. She is sitting calmly on the edge of her cot in her cell, hands over her knees and eyes on the wall. Still, her eyes dart to you and Roy as you enter. Roy, my dear friend, she says calmly. There's a chill in her voice. Thank you for visiting again. To what do I owe the pleasure? Selene, darling, Roy says as he nervously wrings his hands. It pains me to ask, but I was wondering if you could if I could please ask your advice? Selene looks between you and the druid. Adventurer, I'm sick of being called adventurer. You may have beaten me, but I am not broken. I will only help because you are asking, Roy. You can ask her anything you have in your inventory. The garlands, the herbs, or the lock of hair. We don't have the lock of hair. I guess that was a failed check, right? But we do have the herbs, and we have the garlands. Where are we supposed to get the lock of hair? Don't say it 3 times. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go with the garlands. Let's just get going on this. You hold up the wilted and blackened garlands for Selene to look at. They look like my wedding garlands, she says. And I have seen many, but they look like wedding garlands, she says. And I have seen many in this town. As the officiant, of course. And these were healthy until you brought them close to each other. You nod and Roy backs you up. It sounds like they were used as an anchor for some enchantment, but there was a pact written in bad faith. She chuckles dryly at her own attempt at a pun. There was likely some clause that said if these 2 objects ever came into contact, the spell would be broken. A condition that sows chaos, like that sounds like a demonic entity. You return the garlands to your pack. Thanks, lass. How you holding up? The same as yesterday, Selene says. So where did you find these garlands? You tell her that one was found in Tomlin's house and one in Maybelline's. But, she says, her cool exterior beginning to crack, that would mean either Maybelline or Tomlin was the victim of an enchantment. A love spell of some kind? What else did you find? If you haven't done so yet, you could do the unhallowed herbs or the lock of hair. Yeah, is there a warlock in town? We encountered a lock of hair, but maybe a previous session. We did. Was it the lock of hair, or was it the ribbon that was behind the... Because I feel like the only check we failed, Homeboy was like, these are the herbs. Like, he already knew what they were. But wasn't the lock of hair behind her desk? Or was that the ribbon? But hair sounds familiar to me too, Barry. But let's do the herbs, because we did find that. You pull out the bundle of unhallowed herbs and show Selene. Well, plants are more Roy's specialty, she says. But I recognize these. They are distinctive for sure, and I often find them growing in the cemetery. What are they? Roy clears his throats. His throats. He has multiple throats, because he was a pony, now he's a person. He has 2 throats. Though I don't know how to process them, these are the ingredients of communion incense. Communion with what? Selene's eyes narrow, as though she already knows the answer. She takes a tentative sniff at the herbs. Not the sort of company I'd like to keep, Roy says, and Selene nods. So the girl was telling the truth, Selene says. Her gaze grows distant. She really did put Tomlin under her power. I thought she was just mocking me. What did she trade for Tomlin? The former cleric's eyes snap up. Roy takes a step back from her intensity. What else? Did you find anything else? Let's try the lock of hair and see if it makes sense. It may say where we got the lock of hair. There was a hair with a paper scroll. Thank you, Barry. You pull out the braided lock of hair and scrap of paper and hold it to Selene. I wish it said exactly where we got it to refresh my memory. She recoils, her hand reaching for a holy symbol that is no longer there. That's Tomlin's hair. Where did you get that? You tell her it was buried in Maybelline's garden. Oh, okay. She reacts with shock and anger. It's pact magic, she snarls. An enchantment written in the language of demons, so there is a price to be paid. Are her parents all right? They're acting a bit strange, and there was something wrong with the place, Roy says with a shiver, as if the soil itself were crying out in pain. Now that you've removed this from the property, they shouldn't feel any more effects within a couple days, Selene says. Then she mutters absently half at Roy. So that's what she meant by powerful friends. I just thought she was talking about some other yokel. You ask Selene what it means, and she looks away from the spell to lock eyes with you. It means that I killed the man who loved me, she says, but I also got my revenge on the woman who made me do it. Under the smoldering anger of her look, you take a step back from her cell bars, but as quickly as she turned, Selene takes a deep breath and apparently shreds her dark rage as she turns to her friend. I thought it said turns to a fiend. I was like, what? We're done here. We are done here, she says. Go to $3.99. Okay. You thank Selene for speaking with you and bid her goodbye. Just checking the chat. She looks at you down her nose. I can't tell if you are truly noble or just in it for your own personal gain, she says to you. But you're not doing anything that I wouldn't have done in your place. Oh, she's being nicer than I was making her. You open her mouth to thank her, but she cuts you off with a smile that reminds you of her wolf fangs. You take a step back from the cell and bump into Roy. But I'll still get my revenge. Someday. Come on, Roy says to you, tugging you towards the door. Time to go. Once outside, you see tears shining on the dwarf's cheeks and his beard. He wipes his nose with his sleeve and huffs out a sigh. Selene was the best of us once, he says. A truly good person who did what was right, but now a broken shell and a lunatic. Okay. My friend is gone, all thanks to some silly girl who couldn't bear to hear no. You are quite sure what to say, but the druid speaks first. You aren't quite sure what to say, but the druid speaks first. Okay, that's good. Come on, adventurer. Maybe they're just mocking us with that. Adventurer. We both need some rest. It's another night on patrol for the both of us. Roy walks you back to the Pickled Hen, but instead of leaving for the grove, you see him shift into his reddish wolf form before curling up on the floor next to the fire. He's already beginning to snore by the time you start climbing the stairs to your room. All right. She's such a witch. You are enjoying your second uneventful nightly patrol and just finishing up the first watch. You're outside the Pickled Hen and light is streaming out of the tavern windows, along with a good-natured banter from the militia members you were leading. The innkeeper has been kind enough to keep the common room open late into the night for militia to eat and socialize after patrols. You've taken a moment to look over the sleeping town. The clouds cleared while you slept, and now a full moon, hangs in the starry sky above. The lighters have stayed home while the risk of undead remains high, so the moon's cool white light is the only illumination. In the dappled shadow of the night, you almost miss the small movement across the street from the tavern. At first, you think it's just your eyes playing tricks on you, but you could swear you see a woman standing in the shadows, wearing a plain, rough-spun dress. The moonlight is playing tricks around her features, keeping her swathed in shadows. You can't even begin to make out the face except for a small, wry smile and light-colored hair tied back in a tight bun. But then, you blink, and she's gone. You approach where you think you saw the odd figure and find nothing except a faint chill hanging in the air. You remember that there are still undead wandering the streets, that's not good, and it would not be good to be caught alone. You return to the inn for a hot meal, a cool drink, and a good night's rest. It is like Barovia. Checking the chat. Okay. You wake to the sound of commotion downstairs in the tavern. It doesn't sound like another injured patrol, but there's a general din of voices in the common room. You ready yourself to go down and see what all the fuss is about. You come down the stairs to a heated conversation between Mayor Nathram, Roy, and a tired-looking militia member. There's a problem, the mayor says. Well, the problem is gone, Roy says, and that's the problem. Seeing your confusion, Roy gestures to the haggard militia member, still catching his breath. Please don't make me try to explain it, he says. Just come with me. The group of you make your way to the jail. The mayor is walking so briskly that Roy has to jog to keep up. When you arrive, it takes you a moment to understand what you're seeing. What's left of the cell door's shattered lock is still glittering with unnatural frost. A biting chill hangs in the air, and you can see your breath. The cell itself is empty, and you would guess it has been since some time late last night. Adventurer, the mayor says. What's this? She points to the floor where the frost forms a distinct pattern despite its jagged edges. A crescent moon. A new voice saves you from having to answer the mayor. So, what happened in this town of yours? Asks the newcomer. You, Roy, and Mayor Nathram turn to the door where you see a cleric in dusty white robes peering into the jail cell. Roy walks up to the cleric, a young woman with stooped shoulders and light brown hair, and claps the holy man on the back. It's a long story, lad, but we'll have plenty of time as we get you settled into the temple. Let me show you the way. It seems your services are no longer required, Mayor Nathram says. Okay, you can go lick my ass, says to you as Roy leads the cleric out. Thank you. Where will you go next? Bunch of jackheads. You look at the thick frost on the cell door and floor, then think to your moonlit encounter the night before. You tell the mayor that you are not sure yet, but whatever adventure comes next, you will not do it alone. In the dork. The end. All right. There we go. Why are we getting blamed? I know. And that's it. That is episode 1 of episode 1. That is book 1. Whoops, I moved things around. I got all weird. Of The Wolves of Langston. Like I said, this is their, I think, 5th adventure is currently being kickstarted right now. So we are, you are able to probably kickstart that if you want. And the other handful, whoops, I'm doing weird things, are currently all available. And this is where we can totally pick this up again. When we level up, we can talk about this in the chat. It is a fun little mystery, and there's what I do appreciate with this little epilogue. There was more going on underneath, so the innocent victim was actually kind of the cause of all this. Text green, game over. But we do have a lot of good items for a 2nd level character, so that's nice. And we do need to get remove curse cast back into our amulet, then we can keep casting remove curse. But yeah, that was pretty fun. It was still pretty good for a solo book. It had zombie combat was super close. But that is talk about ingratitude. Mike says, fun little adventure, fun little mystery. And then Morgan's like, talk about ingratitude. And Barry's like, text green screen, game over. But yeah, I'm happy to pick this one up later. We can talk about this, how we want to level up, and when we want to continue this. I have some other things in the works right now, and we can move on to episode 2. But this is by Obvious Mimic. This is The Wolves of Langston, which is book 1 of a series. And I believe they go up to 5th level currently is what they currently have, including their Kickstarter at the moment. Mike, Morgan, and Barry, thank you so much for playing this and helping me make these decisions for me, so I didn't have to make all of them. And oh, Barry had a really cool. Your game over thing looks cool, Barry. Your text green screen game over. It shows up on this chat as just like the prompt, but like in the YouTube chat, I can see your little thing you made, which is a lot more fun. Great. Any last minute kind of comments before we close this out? It was a fun little mystery. I don't know if you could like run this as a scenario. You maybe could. You could maybe turn this into. There is a Obvious Mimic has put this out where a party can do it, where it's set for a party. But I still feel like you're procedurally going to have to go through the order. And remember, we saw the cleric last, where I felt like we probably would have talked to the cleric like first, and which would have like fast-tracked this whole adventure. Yeah, so I think what Grimscar next. I'm going to do Grimscar on Wednesday. And that one, you can just kind of come and go. It's a kind of grim dark. We're in a town, and we're just not much story, but there is story. We just kind of make up the story kind of a bit as we go, but it's fun. But yeah, this was happy. I'm happy to. A novel, I think, was the name of our bard. A bard seems to be a pretty good character for this. We got some good magical items out of it, and we got a lot of money. So I'll update our character sheet, and we'll put this in the reserve. Again, we're in no huge rush because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because then we'll be completely out of material. But this was a good, and mysteries are really, really hard to do in D&D. And I think in this format, this was a good way to do it. Morgan Grimscar sounds awesome. Yeah, I'll probably do it Saturday as well. So I'll probably do it this Wednesday and then Saturday as well. I'll follow up with that, or maybe 12 years. Yeah, I didn't know how this would work. I think this worked fairly well. It's a lot to ask. The combat was a little weird because like, what's the distance between us? So it was kind of nice to have me as the DM be like, okay, well, it's a zombie. We can kind of pull away. So I did bias around in that zombie combat just because their movement's so slow, and I created us some distance. But I'll just wait another couple more minutes. Good times, y'all. Thanks for walking us through. You got it, bud. Again, Obvious Mimic, Wolves of Langston. This is their first of a handful. So check out my Discord. Maybe I'll put it in the chat for. Can you even read chats after a live stream? I don't even know how to get the chat link anyway to put the Discord. Go to my YouTube channel. It's my most recent post. That's where to get the Discord to chat with us. But gang, thanks so much, and I will. Morgan, happy Thanksgiving, and the rest of you, I will see you on Wednesday for just another 75 minutes of Grimscar, and then we'll follow up that next. I said Saturday, but I think I meant Sunday. Excuse me, Sunday, and then we're back to Tuesday, Thursday for Legendary Kingdoms. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Obvious Mimic. You can buy this at their store. I think it may be on DriveThruRPG as well. Thank you so very much, guys. And insert witty catchphrase here.